In this video, there are 3 things that I want to talk and emphasize on. First, I'm going to tell you why I like Virgin Galactic under the ticker symbol SPCE stock a lot. If you are pretty familiar with this stock already, you might just want to skip ahead to the little part because I'm going to first do a little brief introduction on this stock. The second thing is I want to discuss a little bit about the second quarter earning report and the recent pullback from the $25 range. So basically I'm telling you if this recent pullback is an opportunity to buy in or not. The third and the last thing is I want to tell you why I believe this stock has what it takes to be a multi-bagger stock. So let's get to it. First thing first, who the heck is Virgin Galactic Holdings and what does this company do? Well, Virgin Galactic Holdings is a British spaceflight company within the Virgin Group, initially formed in 2004 by Richard Branson. The goal of this company is to commercially fly tourists into outer space. In other words, we are talking about taking tourists into space that many of us dream of as a kid growing up watching space exploration movies. And if you think that's all Virgin Galactic is all about, then you are mistaken. We are not talking about making spaceflight possible, but beyond that, this company offers an even bigger opportunity in a partnership with NASA to develop high-speed point-to-point travel around the globe that could disrupt the airline industry. We are talking about aircraft that can fly at 3 times the speed of sound. Imagine if you were in San Francisco. What if I tell you you could fly to London for the weekend in less than 90 minutes, cutting down what is normally 10 hours of flight time into 90 minutes. This 90 minutes is no different than driving to one block of San Francisco's building to the other end. Now that's completely transformational to the world of travel, tourism, and transportation. Alright, now that we have completed the introduction to Virgin Galactic 101, let's get into the meat of this stock and discuss Virgin Galactic's earnings report on the 3rd of August and what causes Virgin Galactic to dip over 30%. At the point of this video, Virgin Galactic is currently sitting right about $18 with a 52-week high of 42.49 cents and 52-week low of $6.90. As you can see from here, it's extremely volatile and definitely not recommended if you can handle volatility. Market cap of roughly $3.7 billion. In the most recent earnings report, Virgin Galactic reported loss of 30 cents per share for the quarter, wider loss than Wall Street's analyst expectation of 26 cents per share by 4 cents per share. Revenue of $0 and a loss of $63 million. Yes, you heard it right, $0, okay? But honestly, not surprising considering that it has never actually carried any tourists into the space yet. And we are not even into the main factor yet. So the main factor behind Virgin Galactic's dip is because 2 test flights have not demonstrated the expected result, which result in further delay of its landmark first commercial spaceflight from this year to 2021. This means that we will not see profit in the early 2021 despite the repeated assurance given by Virgin Galactic in the entire 2020. Kinda similar to Intel recent dip in my opinion if you guys have been following Intel stock. Eventually, with no revenue to report, the company will need to raise more operating capital. While the company ended up selling 23.6 million shares, raising $460 million, the idea of having investor shares diluted by the additional shares didn't thrill the existing stockholders. If you think about it, delays and capital raises happen all the time. And honestly, if you are not prepared for it and are only thinking of gaining short-term profit, then I would strongly suggest you to completely avoid this stock because we are talking about investing in a company that has yet to develop its flagship service. In my opinion, the near-term delays are nothing more than a long-term buying opportunities. Okay, moving on, let's talk about what makes Virgin Galactic a multi-bagger stock. Funny thing is, Virgin Galactic does not have to achieve profitability to unlock near-term shareholder values. Sounds silly, but I can assure you it is not. Just imagine the amount of hype there would be. Simply with an article titled "The First Successful Company to Achieve Commercial Spaceflight Travel," or "Sir Richard Branson, the first passenger in its ever commercial spaceflight." Just look at what happens with stocks like Tesla or Beyond Meat being one of the very few first innovators in its own category with this kind of similar narrative. Now, don't think that Virgin Galactic is all about the hype. Well, maybe I did make it sound like it, but make no mistake, because Virgin Galactic is in the making of being a leader in its emerging category. We are talking about the capability of reaching easily from $0 revenue to $1 billion revenue. In a Cowen survey of the 2.4 million people who have a net worth of more than $5 million, it is found that about 39% of people with a net worth of more than $5 million are interested in paying at least $250,000 for a Virgin Galactic flight to the edge of space. The company currently has 2 spaceships with plans to build another 3 by 2023. Each spacecraft can carry up to 6 passengers on a flight to the edge of space, in addition to the 2 pilots that fly it. If Virgin Galactic builds 11 spacecraft by 2030, the company could potentially fly roughly about 3,400 passengers per year. Collectively, everyone wants to go to space. There's no denying that simple truth. That's why 700 consumers have already made prepayments for Virgin Galactic flights at $250,000 per ticket, despite the consistent delays. And the amazing thing is, at $250,000 per person, Virgin Galactic's ticket revenue is about 3 times the cost of each flight, which would drive very attractive incremental margins. As for the demand side, I wouldn't be worried about it, to be honest, and if anything, the appetite of people to go to space remains strong. The next important thing that I want to talk about is the competition. Of the publicly listed companies, Virgin Galactic is only one of the 3 that owns the groundbreaking technology to translate space tourism into reality. We are talking about big fierce competition in the private space race, with the 2 other firms being Jeff Bezos' Blue Origin and Elon Musk's SpaceX. And if you look at the key indicator in terms of the market advantage in space tourism, I'm not too concerned about it, because the thing is, Blue Origin is at least 2 years behind, and even when Blue Origin does start flying people, the company is inaccessible to public investors as it is wholly owned and funded by Jeff Bezos. As for SpaceX, yes, I think that they have a lot of awesome things going on, but what many people don't know is they are set out on a completely different path. Yes, both companies plan to pay customers to space, but Virgin Galactic is for tourism and point-to-point, while SpaceX is to increase productivity and to Mars. That drives everything from the design of their spacecraft to how they plan to sell their ticket to customers the first. Before I wrap up this video, I just want to point out the fact that the hiring of Michael Colglazier, a former Disney senior executive, as Virgin Galactic's new CEO, tells me that everyone at Virgin is serious about making commercialization work, and as well as hints from Virgin Galactic's leadership that it is months away from beginning commercial service. So great business model, great point-to-point technology, first mover advantage, one of the few space tourism stocks in the market, a strong management team, and that's why I'm bullish on this stock. And to that end, near-term delays from Virgin Galactic are nothing more than a long-term buying opportunities into Virgin Galactic stock, in my opinion. That's all I have for this video. As always, please still do your own due diligence before you decide to invest in SPCE stock. I want you to first ask yourself if you truly believe in space tourism as the way to go into the future. Remember to subscribe and hit the thumbs up button if you like the video. Also comment down below and share your thoughts in this stock. Till next time.